Let's assume that we finished our quick little audio piece with a musical intro, a bit of spoken word audio, and then into an example piece. And the next thing I'd like to do is to save the project and also export the file as something that I can add to my LMS site. So File, Save As. It's called a BAND file, a band file, and of course you can choose where you'd like to save it. I'll just call it the moon landing. And I'll save it on my desktop for now. And then in the Share menu, I can choose Export Podcast to Disk. It calls it a podcast purely and simply because I've chosen that as my preset project. What I can do though is I can choose either an mp3 or an AAC encoder. I'm going to choose mp3 and I'm going to choose spoken podcast. So I can make a nice small file. I could also choose a musical podcast which changes it up to 128 kilobits per second stereo, but I just want to have it spoken podcast, which will optimize the file size down to about 2.8 megabytes. I'll hit export and I'll hit continue. That's okay, I don't need an enhanced podcast. I'm not going to upload it to iTunes or anything like that. And ask me where I'd like to save it. I'd like to save it on the desktop. It's mixing down all the tracks into one file. And it's just converting it into an MP3 now. And when that's finished, what I'd actually like to do is to just have a look at it on the desktop. There it is there. And I'll open it with QuickTime just to make a quick check that it's all good. Good morning, students. I've got a bit of audio that I've got from the internet. Yep, that sounds all fine. Now I'm ready to upload it to the LMS.